Some call it fake news. Some call it disinformation, online manipulation, or even information warfare. The tech giants call it coordinated, inauthentic activity. False news articles on Facebook, bots amplifying questionable opinions on Twitter. What we now know is that nation-states have and are weaponizing these techniques to their own ends. Russia to interfere with elections, China to spread disinformation. But there is one place which hasn't been associated with deliberate disinformation recently, and that's Wikipedia. It's the largest collection of human knowledge ever created, arguably the first digital wonder of the world, the font of all internet knowledge. It has nearly 6 million pages with a staggering 18 billion page views every month. And it was created in the best spirit of the internet, transparent, non-profit making, and open for everyone to read and edit. We may have been naive to believe everything that we read on Facebook, but surely Wikipedia's army of volunteer editors and fact-checkers can keep disinformation under control? Well, now Click investigates evidence of a possible strategy by the Chinese state to manipulate Wikipedia for its own propaganda aims. Here's Carl Miller.
Edit wars stemming from genuine differences of opinion have been part and parcel of Wikipedia since the very beginning. So is vandalism, which is why Wikipedia has created ways to combat it, with a mixture of bots and editors with special powers patrolling the platform day and night.
But what's to stop people, or even worse, governments and regimes, from manipulating the site for their own ends? It's something that's bothered me instinctively for over a year now. What first got me on this track were these two documents, both initially written in Chinese, but we had them translated into English. One is written by a Chinese official, the other is written by a couple of academics.
They present a playbook for how Wikipedia operates, strategies to influence the platform, and argue there are strong reasons for doing so. Strategies such as creating teams to edit on the platform and cultivating opinion leaders, and using different rhetoric to change and rebalance China's image. Both papers stress what a vital source of information Wikipedia is for the people around the world who read it, but complain that it contains misleading and prejudiced content against China's national and governmental image. But this isn't just a problem to be confronted by volunteers. In the words of one of the papers, the Chinese state should act proactively too. One of the places mentioned is Taiwan. Situated to the southeast of mainland China, the island is regarded by China as a renegade province, but many in Taiwan dispute this understanding. So if a war on Wikipedia is going to be fought anywhere, it's going to be there. Armed with this information, I went to meet some Taiwanese Wikipedians at a hackathon in the capital city, Taipei.
This year is a very crazy year.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Taiwanese Wikipedians be attacked and left.
Later on, they pointed me to some examples of the kind of manipulation they say is happening on Wikipedia on Chinese-related issues. One concerns the very nature of Taiwan itself. Is it an independent nation, or in fact a province of China?
They repeating editing Taiwan articles on the English and Chinese Wikipedia, and they wipe out the Taiwan opinion and just keep the China one.
Really?
They repeating and say, oh, Taiwan is part of China. Taiwan is a province of China.
It's not like outright vandalism, it's just like pruning the language, shifting the language to kind of go from one thing to another. How long would that been going on for?
It's going on years.
Years.
And examples kept flowing, such as the Senkaku Islands, a disputed territory actually, but which for a while was China's inherent territory, at least in Mandarin on the Wikidata pages. Although there are elected office holders with powers to take down or lock articles, some of Taiwan's Wikipedians fear that these elections for these positions have been targeted too, amidst a general rising atmosphere of intimidation.
So Taiwanese Wikipedians, or people that voice anti-Chinese opinions on Wikipedia, they get attacked and trolled and abused and doxxed on Wikipedia.
Verbally attacked.
What does Wikimedia Global think of all of this?
They don't care.
Is it because they're American then and they just don't know?
The hostile word was lost in translations.
Heather Ford has researched political edits on Wikipedia.
Whenever you have a group of motivated and well-resourced people who are taking a particular political line on Wikipedia articles, that they can very easily overwhelm the volunteer efforts of Wikipedia.
Our own investigation has managed to find nearly 1,600 times where, across 20 topics or so, Wikipedia was changed to broadly bring its content closer to the Chinese government's line. I tracked down an expert on Chinese social media and cybersecurity to give me a broader sense of how this all fitted in.
Telling the China story has become a really important concept and idea in the last couple of years in Chinese politics. They think that the rest of the world has wrong views of them, misunderstands them, and in order to do good politics for them, they need to project a good image.
Looking at the articles on the recent protests in Hong Kong, the English and Chinese versions are completely different from one another. This time the edit war between a couple of editors saw 52 changes in the space of a single day, arguing over the goals of the protesters and small language tweaks constantly, such as whether they were protesters or in fact rioters. Academic Shirley Yu thinks that trying to tell your story is really the natural behaviour for any up-and-coming superpower.
China feels like a Hong Kong issue is my issue. I own the issue, therefore I own the voices on the issue and I should own the verdicts on the issue. So everything that China is primarily interested in and concerned about is to defend its political positions. It's all about China. The Anglo-Saxon world, primarily over the past 4 decades, has really framed the China story and interpretation of China based on a Western philosophical and political economic framework. And I think today China does owe the world a China story told by itself. And from a China's perspective, I think it's not only a Chinese privilege, it's really a responsibility.
We really don't know how widespread all this is across the vast expanse of Wikipedia's multilingual entries, and it is impossible for us to verify whether the Chinese government really is ultimately responsible for any of it.
Absolutely conceivable that, like people from the diaspora, patriotic Chinese are editing these Wikipedia entries, but to say that is also to ignore that larger, structural coordinated strategy that the government has to manipulate these platforms.
Heather Ford isn't surprised at all to see that states might be getting involved.
I'm surprised it's taken this long, actually. I mean, when you consider the fact that Wikipedia is not only the 5th most popular website in the world, when you ask Siri or you ask Google questions, now using the knowledge engine is from Wikipedia. So it is a prioritized source of knowledge and facts about the world. And if you can influence that, then you are influencing how people are understanding and perceiving what the truth is.